Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Nagalakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce with Finance in Dr. S.N.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. I'm here to explain a concept, classifications and elements of cost. It comes under the course cost and management systems. Now we are going into the concept. First, the classifications of cost. Cost can be classified on various bases for better control of the cost. So, as in the previous video, we have seen the concept of cost. Now we are going into the classification and elements of cost. First, the cost is classified on the basis of element. So, material cost, labor cost, expenses or overheads. So, material cost. What is material cost? Material in sense raw materials needed for production. So, raw materials used for production. So, raw materials purchased, then taxes or expenses on raw materials, carriage inwards, everything comes under raw material, that is material cost. Likewise, labor cost means the persons who involved in production directly comes under labor cost, that is the wages or salaries paid to the employees directly or indirectly engaged with the production. Third one, that is expenses or overheads. So indirect expenses like that is rent, power, depreciation of machinery, everything comes under expenses or overheads. So the material cost, labor cost and the expenses or overhead cost constitute the basis of element in the classifications of cost. Next classification is on the basis of functions. So functions means what are the functions carried out in production. That is production cost is there, administration cost is there, selling and distribution cost is there. So production cost means expenses incurred in the factory. So what are the expenses incurred? So that is depreciation will be charged, then repairs and maintenance will be there, salaries paid to the employees who are not directly involved in the production but comes that is involved in the production, that comes under basis of function, that is production cost. Now we are going to see administration cost. The administration cost means here the expenses incurred in the office, that is office and administration expenses. Likewise, the third cost involved is selling and distribution. So all the productions are over. Now it is the time to take the finished goods out for sale. So at the time, what are the expenses incurred? Advertising, transportation, that is raw material, that is the finished goods has to be taken from the place of production to the place of sale. So then not only for that, salesman commission, showroom rent, delivery van, depreciation, everything comes under this selling and distribution expenses. So here the cost is classified as production cost, administration cost, selling and distribution cost under the basis of function. Next, we are going to see on the basis of behavior. So what are the cost classification means? Fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable cost. Fixed cost means it will not change for the any number of productions, that is remains constant irrespective of production. Example, rent, salary, insurance, these things comes under fixed cost. So the rent paid for the machine paid for the building will not change with the number of production. Okay, likewise insurance paid for the machineries, salaries paid for the employees. Okay, variable cost means it is a cost directly have a relationship with the output. That means if we make more production, more number of raw materials is needed, more number of employees are to be assigned, more that is overheads, expenses related to production may increase. That is said to be variable cost. See, example has given us raw material cost. Like semi-variable cost is mixed behavior of fixed cost and variable cost. That is electricity bill. If we produce more number of products, then machinery has to run for a long period, lighting, everything will be there. So it directly affects the electricity bill. When the production is less, it is vice versa. That is said to be semi-variable cost. So it is on the basis of behavior. Now we are moving to the next basis, that is basis of traceability. Direct cost, indirect cost. Direct cost can be identified with the unit, how many numbers, material, labor. Indirect cost means cannot be directly traced with the units. That is said to be on the basis of traceability. Now we are into the elements of cost. Elements of cost. Elements means what are the things included in the cost. So direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses. These things are the elements of cost. Direct material means raw materials directly used. That is example, cotton is used in textile industry. That is to be direct material. Direct labor means workers directly involved in production. So here the persons who are working in production unit for the production of goods, that is said to be direct labor. Expenses, royalties, special design charge. So here R&D work, everything which is directly related to production, that is said to be direct expenses. Indirect means here machinery used for production. So if the machinery is not working, repairs is to be done, maintenance is to be done, those things comes under indirect material. That is lubrication, cotton waste, that comes under indirect material. Indirect labor means supervisor's salary, who is not in production, but he is a person who supervises the employees who are doing the production work. That is indirect labor. Indirect expenses rent paid for the production unit, electricity charges paid for running the machinery, depreciation for the machinery. These things comes under the head indirect expenses. So we got some knowledge about what are the elements. Elements include direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. Indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses. Okay, now we have to see what is meant by prime cost, what is meant by factory cost, what is total cost. Prime cost means addition of all the three direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. When we add together, we get prime cost. Factory cost means prime cost plus factory overheads. When we add, we will get factory cost. Likewise, total cost means here factory cost is to be added with office and administration overheads, and with the selling overheads we get total cost. Now we are going to see, this is a specimen of a cost sheet. Cost sheet is one which gives us a clear picture about what is the total cost incurred for production of the units, and what is the per unit cost involved in producing a product. So a cost sheet is nothing but it is a statement showing various components of cost and total cost for a period. So here given, so as we know in the previous, that is as I explained you what is meant by prime cost, what is factory cost, what is total. That is what given as a statement. So direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, when we add together we get prime cost. Prime cost, when we add with prime cost, if we add a factory overheads, we get factory cost or works cost. When the factory cost or works cost added with office and administration overheads, we get cost of production. If we add selling and distribution overheads along with the cost of production, we get total cost or cost of sales. To that, if we add profit, we will be getting the selling price. Okay, or else we can say like that, selling price is given or sales amount is given, sales minus cost of sales we get. If the answer is plus, it is profit. If the answer is minus, it is loss in the production of a particular product. I think you have got some idea about what is the classification and what are the elements of cost, and about the preparation of cost sheet. Thank you so much for the patience listening.